What a white guy can do for a better society. I'm going to share with you my observations, my friends, of when I went to DMV the other day. And I think there's a learning, a learning that can be done here. Obama used to say, I forgot what it was, but an education point or something like that. Well, anyway, I'm going to share with you what I saw. And I think it's of interesting, actually. A teaching moment. I think that's what Obama said. All right. I'm at the DMV here in Alpharetta, Georgia. You know, get my the DMV / the homestead exemption. Every single person in the homestead exemption was a white guy. Every single person. And then I go to the DMV, and I'd say the good majority were white guys too, of the clients, of the customers. Every single of the people working for the government in this case, except for like one or two, were older black women. Now, when I'm waiting to do my homestead exemption paperwork, I noticed one thing and one thing in particular. Most of the white guys were not very friendly, all right? Most were not. A couple were pure assholes, no other way around that. And I just say, if you're a white guy out there, now most of these guys are older, and I've been around white guys my whole life. I served, I was with USAA and had lots of older white men, served in the military and whatnot, and would tell you all their stories and stuff. And a lot of that's fine. A lot of that's just, you're like, man, I don't care. A lot of that's over the top. But some of these guys walk around with a big chip on their shoulder like they're owed something because of their experiences or whatever. And there's a guy in there in particular that was like that at the DMV, or not DMV, the homestead exemption place. And I just noticed that every single one of these guys that would come in there almost with a I own this thing. And I don't think that's good, man. And I'm just thinking from a humane perspective, to treat the people who are serving you in that kind of disregard, regardless of race. But in this case, you have to look at race. You've got to, because our society is so confounded by this. You got to say, here's a bunch of white guys coming in there. And a lot of these guys leave frustrated because they don't have the right paperwork. And they get viscerally angry at the lady behind the desk. And the irony of it all is the instructions are very clear on the website for what you have to bring in. Very clear. So if you don't bring in the proper paperwork to get upset with the lady behind the desk, that's on you, man. It is. Now, thankfully, when I was there, I was able to mitigate one guy who, again, this guy wasn't being yelling or anything, but he was being a dick, no other way around that. And I said, hey, you can go over to the DMV and they can print you up your vehicle registration lickety split because it's dead over there, which is what my lady told me to do. And initially I was going, initially I was going to say I'm not going to do that because DMV, I would rather, I don't know, go back to the military, but it's easy. And I told this guy, and he said, oh, okay. And he went over there, and he was polite to me, not so polite to the lady behind the desk. He was polite to me, and he went over to DMV, came back literally while I was still there within 10 minutes, and he was on his way. And so he could have been told that by the other lady who was helping him, but he came in there with such a challenge, such a, I am holier than thou, you wait on me, lady. And I just sit there and I'm thinking, man, a smile goes a long way, my friends. Regardless of your military accomplishments, of your education accomplishments, of your wealth, a smile goes a long way. And I didn't see that much. Now, there were a couple guys that did. The guy was sitting next to an older guy, heavy, who got 2 knee surgeries and a shoulder surgery. And his daughter had to get a knee surgery too, or hip surgery, I should say. He was very polite, very friendly. But again, I'd say 60% were not. Now, again, these people weren't belligerent, but they could easily be belligerent and very just not very nice. There's no other way around that. And I sat there and I said, man, this is part of the problem. The black lady who is serving you sees you coming in there with an attitude, and she's going to give it right back because she deals with this all the time. Rightly, wrongly. The customer's always right. You're the taxpayer. You pay your salary. I get that. But that's what's going to happen if you see that time and time and time and time again, especially when you're told you got to come back with the proper information because you don't have it. I cannot grant you the exemption without the proper information. And the proper information is gathered very simply on the website. It could not be clearer. Why didn't I have it? Because I said, well, I'm just going to go there and see what they tell me, knowing full well that I probably don't have the right information. But I was like, do I really need all vehicle registrations? It said it on the website, and I knew that going in, so I probably do, but let's just see if I don't, and it's on me. So anyway, and here's what I do, and here's what you should do. If you're trying to make racial, what's the word I'm looking for? More, I don't know, less animosity, more harmony, that racial harmony. Smile, be polite. If you can, find out their name and say, hey, how are you, Cassandra, or whatever the lady's name is. I'm telling you, man, that goes a long, long way. And it's from a learning experience that you see this. But if you just observe, and you observe the white guys going in there, many with a chip on their shoulder, many with an attitude, many with this idea of, I'm the taxpayer, you are my servant, you do what I need, and I don't have to show you any due respect or just any gentle kindness. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is what my mom told me when she was a hippie in the 60s, like 67, 68, growing up in San Francisco. She went, I think this is before my time, but she went to the Black Panthers down in San Francisco, and I don't think that Black Panthers were at Haight-Ashbury, but wherever the blacks were in San Francisco. And she goes, how can I help? Because the Black Panthers are raising goods, you know, protecting their own. And they said, yeah, we don't need your help. The way you could help is by going and telling your own people not to be so racist. Help your own kind to overcome their prejudices and their fears. And she told me that, you know, I'm 40, almost 49, man. She probably told me that when I was 5 or 6. I remember that for all of these years. Go take care of your own. Don't take care of us. We got us. You take care of you. And as a white guy here today, I'm going to use that same methodology or thinking process to say, take care of your own, man. White guys, older white guys in particular, as you're going to your government offices, which are typically manned by women, older black women in particularly, at least here in the South. I don't know what they are up in South Dakota, maybe older women, Indian women, I don't know. But go in there with a change of heart, with a smile, and recognizing that you might not be able to get what you want and that you might have to come back. But who is that on? Is that on them or on you? Now, let me give an example. I've had an issue with the DMV, not DMV, but the registration office having my 3 digits of my home incorrectly identified. They had me at 460 instead of 430, and I've tried to make it fix it. When I first got here, it never got done, so I just said whatever. The lady I was talking to helped me do that. And she didn't have to. She didn't have to, but she did. And so now my registration through my homeowners is actually correct on file through the Fulton County GIS. Now, is that because I was smiling? Probably. Is that because I was friendly? Probably. But when you help other people by making them feel good about themselves, they will be more inclined to help you. It's just human nature. And when I walked by the DMV lady who helped me print off my registration from my other vehicle, I just tapped my thing on her head. I said, hey, thank you. And I forgot her name off the top of my head. I probably didn't get it, to be honest with you, which is bad. I should have done that. But I said, thank you. And she was very, you could see, she was very flattered and made her feel good. And there's nothing, that's why giving, I used to be part of this group called BNI, Business Networking International. And their whole thing was givers gain. When you give, you actually are the gainers. Kind of like being a charitably inclined person. When you give, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about yourself because you made someone else's day. You feel better than the person who actually received the gift. I'm telling you, man, it's true. That's why once you get caught up in the giving mentality, man, it's addictive as all can be. You want to do whatever you can to give because it's such a wonderful feeling of helping people. Look, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say I don't tick people off or I don't get upset. Trust me, I've made my mistakes. I still do. But I try to go in there as much as I possibly can with a smile, because I know a smile will get people to help me more than if I go in there kind of like an attitude. Try to do the same thing. I'm just saying from a white guy's perspective, because we got a lot of people who are looking at white guys as bad, and rightly or wrongly. Of course, it's mostly wrongly, it's racist. But But from a white guy's perspective, you really got to be thinking about what can you do to advance the cause of humanity. And a simple smile to anybody, it doesn't have to be a white woman, a black woman, it could be anybody. A smile could go a long way, but maybe get that chip off your shoulder and maybe recognize, yeah, this lady's here doing a job. She has a job that is meant to do like this. This is the structure of it. You don't know the structure because you didn't take the time to research it. That's on you, not on her. Anyway, something to think about. And again, we got to take care, we got to help everybody. And one of the things, like the Black Panthers told my mom, take care of your own first before you try to help us out. Words to live by. See ya.